It often begins in silence, a living room dimly lit, a hallway where footsteps echo too loudly, a dinner table where the air feels heavy with unsaid words, and then, without anyone declaring it, a crown is placed on the head of a child, invisible, weightless at first, but it will shade their entire life. This is the child who could never fail, the one called mature beyond their years, the one praised for always doing the right thing, the one who become the symbol of pride for the family, whether they ask for it or not. On the outside, a golden child seems like a blessing. They shine, they achieve, they make everyone proud. But psychology tells us that behind this brightness of the role often hides shadows of fear, perfectionism, loneliness, and a haunting question: if I stop being perfect, will I still be loved? Today, we're going to deep into the psychology of the golden child, how they're created, what they sacrifice, how it affects their adult lives, and the quiet path towards healing. Golden children aren't born, they are chosen in families where tension, dysfunction, or unmet dreams live. One child often becomes the shining hope. Sometimes it's the oldest, sometimes it's the youngest. Sometimes it's the quiet one who learns that success is the only safe way to receive attention. It might begin with small praises. You're so smart. You're the responsible one. You never cause trouble. These comments feel good at first, but over time they become a cage. The child learns quickly that mistakes are dangerous, weakness is unacceptable, and love is conditional. Psychologists explain that this dynamic is especially common in families where parents are struggling with trauma, with unmet ambitions, or with relationships of their own. Instead of carrying their own weight, they project it onto a child. You will make us proud. You will be perfect. You will save us from our failures. And so the golden child emerges, not because they want to, but because they have to. The golden child smiles often. They bring home good grades. They perform on stage. They shine in sports. They achieve, and everyone claps, but no one asks them, how do you feel? That's the paradox. Their achievements are celebrated, but their emotions are neglected. Behind the applause, the child feels invisible, not seen as a person, but as a performance. This is where psychology warns us. Unconditional love is what nourishes children. Conditional love tied to performance. It creates wounds that may never fully close. The golden child learns to silence their needs, to hide their fears, to always appear in control. And every compliment, you're the best, you make us proud, you're perfect, digs the wound even deeper, because they know one mistake could shatter it all. For the golden child, perfection is not ambition, it's survival. If they fail, they risk losing the only form of attachment they know. So they keep climbing higher, chasing approval, terrified of slipping. Psychologists call this conditional worth. The idea that I am only valuable when I succeed. Over time, this becomes so deeply wired into the nervous system that rest feels unsafe. Joy feels unfamiliar. Failure feels catastrophic. And here lies the tragedy: the golden child isn't free. Their achievements don't feel like victories, they feel like obligations. Imagine running a race, not because you want to, but because if you stop, the ground beneath you will collapse. That is the psychology of the golden child. From the outside, they look admired. Inside, they are profoundly lonely. Golden children often grow up without the freedom to explore who they truly are. They may not know what they like, what they want, or even who they are apart from achievements. Their identity becomes fused with performance. Friends see them as reliable. Teachers see them as model students. Families see them as saviors. But who sees them as human? This loneliness is invisible. The golden child may laugh, succeed, and shine in public, but behind closed doors they carry an aching emptiness, a sense that no one knows them. When the golden child grows up, the crown doesn't disappear, it just changes forms. In relationships, they may become perfectionists, always trying to be the ideal partner, but deep down they fear that if they show flaws, they will be abandoned. In careers, they often excel, but at the cost of burnout. They may feel unable to say no, unable to rest, unable to stop striving, because to stop is to risk being seen as worthless. Many golden children become people pleasers. Some become workaholics. Others struggle with depression masked by achievement. They may seem successful on the outside, but inside, they are exhausted, scared, and yearning for permission to just be. Psychologists call this imposter syndrome, the haunting belief that no matter how much you accomplish, it's never enough. The golden child wears this like a second skin. At the heart of the golden child's psychology is a deep inner conflict. One voice says, keep shining, keep achieving, keep making them proud. Another voice whispers, I just want to rest, I just want to be loved as I am. This conflict creates anxiety, sleepless nights, even physical symptoms like tension, headaches, or constant fatigue, because the nervous system is stuck in overdrive. And perhaps the hardest part is this: the golden child often doesn't realize how much they've lost. They may not notice that they've abandoned their inner child, the playful, curious, messy, imperfect part of themselves, in exchange for approval. But here is the truth: the crown was never real. The expectations, the perfection, the constant performance, none of it defines the soul of the child underneath. Healing begins when the golden child realizes, I am allowed to be human. I am allowed to make mistakes. I am allowed to be loved for more than my achievements. I am allowed to rest. This isn't easy. The pattern runs deep, but step by step, golden children can learn to set boundaries, to say no, to discover their true interests and desire to take the crown off and finally breathe. Therapists often suggest something called reparenting, learning to give yourself the unconditional love you never received. This means speaking to yourself gently, validating your feelings, and reminding yourself that your worth is not tied to performance. It also means grieving the childhood you never had, grieving the years spent carrying burdens too heavy for a child, grieving the lost innocence of being forced to be perfect. But grief is not weakness, it is the first step to wholeness. Slowly, the golden child can reconnect with the playful, imperfect inner child that they left behind. They can rediscover creativity, curiosity, and joy. They can learn that being loved is not something to earn, it is something they deserve by simply existing. So, what happens when the golden child finally takes off their crown? At first, there is fear, silence, a sense of unfamiliarity. But then, slowly, something else: freedom. Freedom to laugh without performing, freedom to fail without shame, freedom to be loved without conditions, and perhaps most importantly, freedom to finally meet themselves, not as a perfect child, not as the family's pride, but as a whole, complex human being. If you were the golden child, know this: you were never loved because you were perfect. You were loved because you were you, and that truth remains waiting quietly beneath the weight of the crown. The crown can be set down now. You don't have to shine every moment. You don't have to save anyone. You are already enough. And sometimes, the bravest thing a golden child can do is simply whisper, "I'm tired of being perfect. I just want to be me."